It's time for Sci-Fi Sunday, and I want to give you part 4 of my Screenwriter Focus series on Rian Johnson, which means we're going to talk about Star Wars Episode 8, and that's a very difficult topic for me to talk about. It's very emotional. I suppose Rian Johnson impressed Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy to hire him for this huge blockbuster, high budget film as Star Wars Episode 8. And I have no idea why. I suppose Looper had been science fiction, and it was viewed at least somewhat successfully at the box office. It had Bruce Willis and JGL in it, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So they must have thought, okay, Rian Johnson clearly can handle this sort of thing. But my goodness, Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy let me down with this situation with Star Wars Episodes 7, 8, and 9. I'm just going to get that out there because it became obvious as Episode 8 came out and then Episode 9 following it that there was not a clear plan for the trilogy. And that's an issue. I mean, that's a serious issue when you're in charge of a major series, a major saga such as Star Wars, and you're putting out these films without a plan. Now, J.J. Abrams did a nice job with Episode 7. It was quite formulaic and repeated a lot of what Star Wars had done in the past, but at least it brought the story to a new generation of audiences and was a fun movie to watch. I mean, you could just go buy a soda and some popcorn and sit there and go, yeah, it's some Star Wars. But I have to say, I did not feel that way in Star Wars Episode 8. And I don't know what happened. I don't know how much that you blame on Rian Johnson or how much you blame on Kathleen Kennedy and the film and the whole system overall as they tried to make it work. But my goodness, when I watched Episode 8 in the theater as a Star Wars film, I was really disappointed. If it had just been a random science fiction film that wasn't called Star Wars, I want to feel hopeful that I might have given it more of the benefit of the doubt, but I'm thinking no, probably not, because my main issues are with the fact that Rian Johnson had a chase going on in space with a horrible pacing. So much of the film is the people with Princess Leia, who I'm just going to call the Rebellion, even though I know they get called something different in the newer movies. We got the Rebellion, and they're being chased by, I know it's the First Order, but basically the Empire's ships, and it's slow. It's just like, hey, there's a ship in space, and there are these other, well, there are multiple ships in space being chased by multiple ships, and it's not a fast chase. It's not as if they're shooting back and forth and getting in front of and behind of each other. Like, it's not a dog fight like you would see in World War II airplane fighting, which is what inspired George Lucas with the original Star Wars films. It's just, hey, there are ships behind us. They're hoping we'll run out of fuel so that they can catch up with us. But in Star Wars, they have the ability to jump through hyperspace and to get ahead of other ships. So to me, Rian Johnson either didn't understand the logistics of the Star Wars universe and how the ships work and how the space travel work, or he was forced to write it into this way by people higher up. I don't know. But that part alone, which is the foundation of the story, did not work for me. And when the foundation of the story doesn't work, of course, the rest of it's all going to come crumbling down around it. I was even more frustrated that during the space chase, the slow crawl through space, that apparently there were characters who were able to leave the rebel ship and go do stuff on a planet and then fly back and rejoin them. Wow, that's so frustrating. If there's a chase going on in space and people could get on a ship and leave and go do something, then everyone should have been able to do that. It just completely takes the plot away. Like, to me, it doesn't make any logical sense how that's working. So without worrying about the Star Wars elements, the elements with the Force, I know people were upset about Princess Leia using what they called Mary Poppins-like powers to float through space. I had no problem with that. To me, Leia was always presented as a Force-sensitive character since Empire Strikes Back, so you knew that she had the ability to harness the Force, and to me that could have just been a moment where it was a near-death experience and the Force worked, like she was able to use the Force in that moment. Though J.J. Abrams, being the nice storyteller he is in Episode 9, gives us a flashback of Luke and Leia doing Force training, Jedi training, to explain how she had those powers. Like I said, Star Wars Episode 8 felt very much like a disappointment in a lot of ways, just from the core premise of that chase through space. And Thus, I don't even feel like I need to go into all the other areas that it felt like it was a disappointment. But I do know, what I will give Rian Johnson credit for with Star Wars Episode 8 is that he was telling a story with the theme of failure. And he wanted the audience to see characters fail and fail and fail. He was trying to go against expectations and against the standard trope. It is the middle film in a trilogy following the spirit of Empire Strikes Back. He wanted failure to be there for the end of the film, to leave us with a sense of, oh my goodness, how are they going to get out of this mess? How will the hero succeed with Episode 9? So I do understand the concept, I get the theme, and yes, there was very much a sense of failure. So Rian Johnson did accomplish getting that theme and that emotional feeling across. Hope you enjoyed the talk today. Every day is a good day for a book talk and or a film talk. Thank you very much. Peace.